Hi guys, this is Connie, back for some more Connie Reads The Dogs of Tryon. Dogs of Winter. Everybody is asleep, except me. So I'm going to take this opportunity as quickly as I can, first off to say thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I can actually read paper better than I can actually speak. Hi guys, this is Connie, back for some more Connie Reads The Dogs of Winter. This is chapter 39, titled The Return of Rudy. "Lord save us," the Christian lady said, as she looked me up and down, her beefy fist planted on her round hips. I did not look down at my shoes. I rested one hand on Smoke's shoulder. I stared straight back at her. "I need clothes," I said. Her brow furrowed. Something pushed from far back in my memory. "Please," I added. She shook her head. "You need more than clothes, I dare say." She reached a hand out to touch my chopped hair. I stepped back. Smoke growled. The Christian lady's eyes darted from Smoke to me. She licked her lips. "I mean you no harm, boy, but if you want anything from me, you'll call off that dog of yours." "Back," I said to Smoke. He grumbled a complaint even as he trotted a few feet away. "You could really do with a bath and a haircut." I shook my head. "Just clothes and shoes." The Christian lady sighed. "Wait here." She bent over tall cardboard boxes filled with clothes and shoes and blankets. Other children of all sizes tried on this and that. Some took only blankets. Some followed other Christian ladies to a long white van. It would not take long for the boxes to empty. I knew the Christian ladies would leave the bigger cardboard boxes for the children to use for shelters. I did not think a cardboard box would make as wonderful a home as a den beneath the generous limbs of an evergreen. "Here you go." I blinked. "See if these fit. I don't have things much smaller." I frowned. "I am not a little boy," I said, standing up tall. A little boy could not kill a giant pig with one blow. A tiny smile tugged at the corner of the Christian lady's mouth. "I see," she said. On went the new clothes and battered boots. I pulled a hat down over my chopped up hair and ears. Now I looked like any other unwanted child on the streets. Once again, I was invisible. And so we rode the trains that long snowy winter. Always we rode the last train of the evening, clacking nose to tail down the track into the station. At night, few people rode the last train, so we often had it to ourselves. The few passengers on the late-night train stayed clear of a boy and his pack. I had no use for people except the garbage they provided for food. Seldom had they not meant me harm or betrayed me. The dogs were always with me. Moon and Star invented a game with the trains. They dared each other and waited until the last possible moment to leap from the train station platform through the whooshing doors and into the train, without getting a tail caught. Little Mother watched their game with alarm and then irritation. Lucky, of course, joined in the fun. Smoke just watched. I held my breath each time they played this game and clapped when they tumbled aboard, tails head high and whole. I did my best to avoid the other children of the street. I watched them beg. I watched them fight and cry. I watched them stick their noses in brown paper bags, breathe in and breathe out. I watched them get drunk and get sick. They froze in helpless heaps inside cardboard boxes and doorways on top of heat vents. The police came and poked the body with their nightsticks. An ambulance wailed its way up the street and took the body away down the street. That winter, they took many bodies away. We rode the trains. Once, as we waited for the last evening train, a gang of crow boys sauntered down the long, overlit corridor of the metro station. The heels of their boots clicked on the marble floor. One smashed out lights with a long stick as he walked along. Another demanded money from the few people waiting for the train. Then they spotted me. The one with the long stick stopped and pointed it at me. "Hey, you're that boy who lives with dogs." I shrugged and looked away. They stepped closer. The tallest took a cigarette from behind his ear and put it to his lips. "Yeah, I heard about you." the boy who lives with dogs. He lit the cigarette and flicked the match at my feet. Rip backed away in terror. I growled and flashed my teeth. The Crow boys hooted with laughter. He thinks he's a dog. One pulled out a knife and flicked open the blade. His eyes grew hard as ice. Let's see if you can beg like a dog. I barked one high, commanding bark. From the shadows came the other dogs, surrounding the Crow boys. The dogs crouched and crept in closer to the boys, their voices growling and grumbling with hate. My hand itched for my club. What was left of it was far away in the forest, buried beneath the snow. So instead I said simply, "They will kill you if you come closer." One said, "You think we're afraid of a little kid with his dogs?" But their eyes said something different. The one with the long stick said, "Just give us what money you have, and we'll leave you and your mangy mutts alone." I slipped my hand into my pants pocket. I felt the smooth lump of my baby tooth and the length of knife. I curled my fingers around my knife. "Sure," I said. Just then, a cold, lazy voice said, "Is this all you have to do? Play with little boys and dogs?" There, in the light of an oncoming train, smoke drifting from his nostrils, a small black gun hanging in one hand, stood Rudy. I gasped. Rudy did not look at me. Instead, he said to the cowering Crow boys, "I know who you work for. I wonder how he'd like it if I told him you were no better than rats pestering a flea." "We were just having a little fun, Rudy," one of the boys said. His Adam's apple bobbed up and down in his throat as he gulped. The train hissed to a stop. Rudy tossed his cigarette to the floor and crushed it beneath the toe of his shiny black boot. The train doors opened. Rudy flicked his eyes in my direction. He waved the small gun. "Go," he said. The dogs and I hurried down to the last train compartment and threw ourselves in. My heart was hammering in my ears when I heard a voice say, "Why is it I keep saving your skin?" Rudy slumped on the floor of the train across from us. Smoke growled and Moon flashed her teeth. "Call off your hounds," he said in a weary voice as he tucked the gun inside his coat. I murmured to the dogs. The growls and flashing teeth stopped, but their eyes never left Rudy's hands. We rode in silence for a bit. Then Rudy shook his head and said, "I never would have placed my bets on you." I shrugged and stroked Rip's chest. Rudy leaned his head back and closed his eyes. The train clicked and clacked along. Slowly, I relaxed. "How did you do it?" he asked. "Do what?" "Survive." He opened his eyes and looked at me. "How did you survive the winter and the militia and the gangs of boys like me?" Rip sighed and laid his head in my lap. Star shifted his warm weight into mine. The others never took their eyes off Rudy. "The dogs," I said. Rudy nodded. "The dogs." The train sighed to a stop. Rudy stood. He dug into the pocket of his black jeans and tossed a wad of rubles at my feet. "You still have those fairy tales you used to read to us?" he asked. Then his voice sounded old, but his face looked younger than I remembered. I shook my head. I lost them. "Just bring her over here. I've only got one more paragraph left to go. Just bring her over." Rudy looked away. "Ah," he said. "Too bad." The doors to the train whisked open. Rudy touched 2 fingers to the brim of his hat, then turned and walked onto the train platform and down the corridor without a backward glance. I never saw him again. And that's the end of chapter 39. Be careful with that and enjoy. Please and thank you. Look who just got up. Can you say good morning? Look, can you say good morning? Or bye-bye? Can we say hi and bye-bye? There we go. That's awesome.